keep watching if you really want to be liberated from fear. If you want freedom from fear, you have to have zero tolerance for the spirit of fear in your system. So what does that mean, the spirit of fear? It kind of sounds spooky and scary, like, oh, there's a spirit of fear out there coming to get you. It's not necessarily like that. It may be like that, in other people's mind-body systems. Their own fear can be somewhat contagious. Or, if you're watching cable news or social media, there's a lot of fear that's spreading from person to person, kind of like a virus. And yeah, you can be susceptible to that. But if you really want freedom from it, besides creating healthy boundaries around the kind of media that you're consuming on a daily basis, you have to have zero tolerance for the expression, the manifestation of that fear in your system. So how does that manifest in your system? You need to identify it so that you can know what to look out for. Maybe you're noticing racing thoughts. Maybe you're noticing a future orientation, imagining worst case scenarios. Okay, maybe you're feeling anxiety in your body. Maybe you're feeling increased heart rate and tightness in your chest, tingling in your extremities, and anxious feeling in the body, antsiness, unable to sit still. Okay, and all of this can be on a spectrum. Fear can be really intense on the one hand, like a panic attack, like having flashbacks and visualizing the worst case scenario. But then it could also be slightly less intense, something more along the lines of worrying, constantly checking, constantly feeling unsure. And on a really subtle level in your body, you can feel, even if you've logically told yourself, okay, I'm going to trust this situation, I'm not going to worry excessively about this, I'm not going to give in to the fear, you can feel on some level deep inside that there still is some kind of grip, some kind of tightness, and that's completely normal. There are layers to your inner self, to your psyche, to your inner being, to your spirit, right? And you start on the outermost layers. Like I said in the beginning, your relationship to people and situations and media around you, you need to think about what kind of boundaries are the healthiest for you. And then coming in one layer deep, what kind of thought processes are you often experiencing? Generally, if we're not here in the present moment where you naturally are, the mind will produce thoughts about the future, imagining scenarios, or it'll remember the past, right? In this case, with fear, it's often future oriented. So maybe you're noticing those future oriented thoughts. If you're noticing those thoughts, then your mindfulness practice is going to be an indispensable tool in coming into the right relationship to those thoughts. We're not trying to stop the thoughts from happening. We're rather trying to notice the thoughts, trying to come into the relationship with the thoughts where we're not fighting against them, we're not gripping onto them, because they work kind of like the Hydra in Greek mythology. The Hydra, if you know the story, when you try and chop off one of the Hydra's heads, then from that stub where the head used to be, two heads are going to sprout out. And it's kind of the same idea with your fear, with this spirit of fear, quote unquote. The more you fight it, the more it grows. Because if you're fighting it, if you're defending yourself from it, it's the same energy that you're using to defend yourself from this hypothetical worst case scenario. It's almost solidifying it, it's making it a real thing, when really there's nothing wrong. It's just a thought. It's just an imaginary scenario. It's not a real experience that's happening now. The experience itself is just a mental image. and the physical body is responding to that mental image as if it were a real situation. But you don't need to fight against it. All you need to do is notice that it's happening and come back to this moment. Notice what's happening in your chest, and even better, come into your belly. Bring awareness to your feet, to the solidity of the ground beneath you, to your seat, to the earth. Come in contact with what's solid supporting you. And develop a practice of coming back to the solid, earthy aspect of your being in your body. So there's no fight that needs to go on in your mind. The fight is what is causing the problem. That's what's fueling the fear, the anxiety, the worry, the constant antsiness, the unable to sit still, the inability to trust. So just notice that it's happening. Don't try and stop it from happening. Just notice that it's happening. Take a deep breath in your nose, out your mouth, vocalize. Feel that vibration from the chest, through the throat, out the mouth. Make contact with your seat, make contact with the floor. And just for a moment, resolve to be here in the now. Obviously, it's better if you have a constant or a consistent mindfulness practice where if you're doing this on a regular basis, then you're rewiring your nervous system, you're rewiring your neural pathways so that it's easier to recognize when the thought activity is happening, when this spirit of fear is manifesting in the form of your thoughts and your speech and your impulse towards certain behavior, when you can notice it happening effortlessly. That comes from practicing on a consistent basis. But besides doing that practice, you can also ask for guidance. Ask for guidance from your higher self. Now, what's your higher self? Your higher power, God, the universe, universal consciousness. No matter what name you're going to put on it, know that it's not some being out there separate from you, but rather your truest, innermost self. The clearest aspect of your consciousness. When fear is appearing in your system, that appearance is known and seen by you. But it's not seen by you, the person, you, the mind-body system. It's seen and noticed by subtle, formless awareness. And even those words aren't really capturing what you actually are, but practicing coming into a relationship with your thoughts and your feelings and your impulses can lead to freedom from fear. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you. Or if you would like any more guidance, feel free to put a question down there. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye.